Have you heard about the importance of creating goals, but you just dread the idea of creating more goals and then being smart and they're so boring and then you never stick to it and it's so disappointing? Well, this episode is exactly about how to go beyond SMART goals and do something that can actually feel exciting, worthwhile, and manageable. So listen to this episode for 4 steps and some bonus tips on how to make practical goals that go beyond just being smart. And also, if you stick to the end, I'll share my 2024 goals, and I'd love to hear yours. So let's dive in. Here we are, the beginning of the year. Everybody's excited about what's ahead. This is such an exciting period, and it could be also really daunting. Well, here I want to offer 4 other ways to think about goals that are beyond the SMART method. So first off, I've really been enjoying the work of Dr. Benjamin Hardy, who talks about the difference between 2x goals and 10x goals. If you haven't checked it out, please go for it. But what he mentions is that when we set incremental goals, so our goals are just slightly bigger. Hey, I want to make a 10% increase in my salary. I want to just get, 20% better on my pull-up, whatever that is. Our way of getting there logically requires doing more. Where I feel like we need to do more, work harder. But the challenge is that we're already usually at capacity. This 2x mentality is actually harder on us physically, mentally, because it requires us to strain our system more while doing things pretty much similarly, right? We don't have to redefine ourselves. Well, if we think about an impossible goal, means that we're so audacious, we have this hunch that we want to get somewhere, but it feels quite impossible. It's like a 10x goal. We have to redefine the way we think about this whole approach. We have to look at the Pareto law of 80-20 and redefine what's actually working at it. We have to be very scrutinizing at the time we put into things and what we get out of it. And it's like, hey, a lot of what I'm doing is actually not working for me if I really want to get this impossible goal. How am I going to get there? And the cool thing about it is that you have to think so differently that your inhibitions, your judgments of playing it safe have to be lost. And you have to think about, okay, well, if I have to do this crazy new thing, I have to think about it completely differently. So here your mind gets a chance to wander, to think anew, to challenge itself, to go for something new. And that inspires you, that motivates you, that forces you to change. And of course, that can be really scary. But again, to me, the biggest fear is not changing, because change is going to be inevitable. And you choose to define your quality of life by how much you take risks or not, by how much you choose to live fully or not. Okay, so I do want to challenge you to think of what could that impossible goal be for you? And it's not quite an impossible goal if it's like 3 years out, 4 years out. Let's have an impossible goal that actually is 3 months out, right? Goals don't quite have that power with it to fire us up if they seem too far out, right? What can be an impossible goal for you in 3 months, in 6 months? So the second part of this is I implore you to set smaller goals. Don't have goals so far out. You're like, okay, I'll start them tomorrow, February, next week, next year, da, 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 da. It always drags on. So find impossible goals that inspires you and then set shorter increments of time to achieve it. And the focus is really not on just achieving it. It's also just the journey of thinking differently. You may not actually achieve that impossible goal, and that's okay. But if you really lean into it, your process of having to go about and achieving is going to change you significantly more than if you were just going for the 10x goal. So lean in for the impossible and see what happens. The next thing I want to talk about is space. Here we are thinking we're going to go to these amazing goals, our life is going to change. But in order to create change, we also need to create space for that. We fill up our time. Everybody has the same amount of time. So what are we going to say no to create the yes that we want, the yes in time? And that can be tricky because it's like, oh, I'm so busy for everything already. Well, a lot of times we're busy in things that are not serving us. So this is the point where you have to be very candid with yourself, very honest with yourself. It's like doing more is not getting you what you want. And it's not about how much harder you work or how much smarter you are. It's just your flaw. It's just that factually doing more is not the solution. And so it takes looking into, it's like, what do I want to do less of? Where do I need to create boundaries and slow down so that I can actually do more with less time, with less effort? And that just takes reflection and space. So again, with your big goals in mind now, you're going to be thinking out there. How are you going to create the space for that? Right? If you have a goal, you need to create space for it. You need to think about, okay, if I'm going to stick to it, it's not going to just be automatic without any effort. It's going to require that you have some consistency to plan, to think, to create action around this. And space is also really cool because it's not a one size fit all. It also takes this sense of honesty, like, hey, when do I actually perform better? When do I create better? When do I think better? If you have the honesty, then you realize there's a beautiful process where you can honor how you work and when you work best. Not everybody works best in the mornings or in the evenings or during lunchtime, or even the same person may not be set up for do creative tasks at one time of the day versus doing more logical tasks at a different part of the day. So examine yourself and figure out, hey, what do you need to do? What do you need to create space for? And when is the best time in your day, in your plan, in your life to do that? Right? And then book that down. Make that a consistent, dedicated time for you to do that best task. So reflect on it. And sure, you can be like, Anya, I'm so busy. And I get that. I'm a mom of 3 kids. I was working full time while going to school, getting 2 master's degrees. I'm no stranger to being busy. But life is always going to be busy. It's never going to be the right time to do something. You have to create space for what matters to you and for a better life. And honestly, I don't want you to think that, hey, your life is going to be all about achieving a goal, because that's silly, honestly. When we program our mind to always be in the future chasing a goal, we're never happy even if we achieve it. I really like this powerful statement that the energy you put into a goal is the energy you're going to have when you get it. And that is so true. And honestly, it made me really sad when I heard that, because I realized here I was always working so hard, always grinding, always just trying to do more, being stressed at my kids at the end of the day because, oh, I need to work more, guys, and you're distracting me. And I realized that if I am miserable trying to achieve a goal, I'm going to be miserable when I achieve it because my brain is just programmed to follow the same path I've always been on. So when I heard that, the energy you put into achieving a goal is going to be the same energy you can have when you achieve it. That made me scared, because here I was grinding away all this time thinking, oh, I'm going to get that goal. And then once I get a little more money, once I get the promotion, then I will be happy. And the thing that sucked is that didn't work. Once I achieved something, that same mentality kept me thinking, okay, well, that's not good enough. I just need to achieve something in the future. It was always future focused. You have to realize that this isn't going to work if you don't enjoy the journey. If you're miserable trying to achieve something, that means that the way you're going about it isn't working for you. It needs to be a change of focus on also having a journey that you enjoy, having a foundation of not just goal-oriented living, but also a journey worth living too. And so you have to define yourself, what is the space you need to have a journey that you can enjoy, that's worthwhile? So that way, when you're not just achieving a goal, you're actually also not miserable. You fuel yourself, you're capable, you're having a higher capacity of what you can achieve. And so here you are, you've created the space, you were intentional about what's serving you and what's not. You realize that here you are going to not just have a goal that you're excited about, but you're also going to create the foundation for the journey that day to day you're going to enjoy. And that's where step 4 comes in about goals. Oftentimes we just have a goal in mind, but we don't think like, how can I actually make this goal easier? Here we have a space, but what is my strategy? And by strategy, we think that's something, you have in corporate to get things delivered, or a business project has strategy, but our life can also have a strategy. How can we make it easier for us to do what we want to do and harder to say no to those things? How are you making it easier for you to move forward with your goals versus creating all these obstacles for yourself? And what I mean by the strategy is that, like, for example, your strategy can include like, oh, you know what? I need time. I need 30 minutes every day. I need an hour every day to focus on the high price thing. And that will be a key part of my strategy. Sometimes we start and just think, oh, it's going to suck today. Oh, this week is going to be hard. As if we have no agency over how we show up in life. As if we have no agency in how we respond to things. So when it comes to creating a strategy, you have agency. Not to say that everything is going to go according to plan, but if you consistently put in the effort to make it easier to lean into your goals versus just letting life happen at you, you're more likely to achieve them. You're likely to get closer. And then again, because you create that space, you can reflect, because it's going to be a consistent process. It's never going to be done. You're going to reflect on what actually worked. Which strategy worked for me? Which one did not? How can I adapt? But have fun with it. Get curious. Again, these goals are meant to give you inspiration because you are capable of more than what you think is possible. You are meant to learn and grow and stretch yourself. You are never stagnant. You are never done. You were never meant to be stuck. And since you've been so patient listening to this, I want to share 2 bonus tips with you. One is also from Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Shout out to him. And that is on focusing on comparing yourself not to your future self, but to your past self. Instead of always thinking about the delta between where you should be, how you measure up to your future expectations, what if we measured ourselves back to where we were before? How we have grown from last week, from yesterday, from 10 minutes ago. We're all growing and evolving. And if you look at it that way, you can have a much healthier perspective of how much you have changed, how you've grown. Look at where you were a year ago, 5 years ago. See the difference. And just imagine where you could be if you set these big goals for yourself and keep going there. And again, looking at the little successes is going to give you more strength and resilience on this incredible journey. And so thank you so much for listening. I'm so excited for 2024. Please let me know what your goals are. I would love to support you and root you on those. I am so grateful that you chose Right Off Track. And here, this is a resource for all entrepreneurs, people who want to go on this journey and find their purpose and find inspiration. We have podcasts with interviews with people who are on this journey. We have this new part of our podcast where we share just practical tips from my learnings along the way too. And this is just a great resource for people. So if you have anything you want to uncover, any topics you want me to dive into, I so welcome your suggestions. And as a last bonus here, I want to share my goals for 2024. A big goal for me for 2024 is to work on monetizing this podcast. And I've made some progress in terms of growing our following, which is a big part of it. And please subscribe to help with that. But I'm also wanting to get beyond just the ad money and get into sponsorship. So that's my big goal for this year, is to improve and lean in that direction. If you know a sponsor, if you are a sponsor, please reach out to me. I'd love to connect. And also, I want to do more speaking engagements. I'm really excited to start this year with an opportunity to be speaking at the Evolutions Conference in March. I'm so thrilled to be sharing my experience about podcasting. And I'm also currently, as we're filming this, being considered for a TEDx opportunity at UW. So I'm going to go for it. There's still an interview process, but gosh, months ago, this wouldn't even seem possible. And so here I am this year leaning into more speaking opportunities. I'm leaning into monetizing my work. I'm creating some coursework with my friend Earl Talbot, where we talk about what it means to be a solopreneur, how to grow yourself from inside and out, meaning what are limiting beliefs and the mental side of things are limiting you. And then I'm sharing practical growth strategies as well. So if you're interested in that, please follow me and I'll share more resources as they come. And I'm also really excited to create my own course. Later this year, it's something that I'm doing in the works right now. And then maybe even towards the end of the year, there's a retreat idea I have in mind. So those are things that scare me, excite me, but I'm just going to go for it because that's what life's about. Those are the goals that really bring me to life. And I know that if I can think of them, why can't I do them? And if I don't necessarily achieve them just as I think they're going to be, I'm surely going to get a lot better and grow a lot more than if I didn't even start. So I'm imploring all of you to dream big, to go for it, to grow and learn and believe in yourself and help others. And let's make 2024 the best year yet. I love all of you. And as always, let's take over the world together, right off track. Until next time, take care, my friends.